All right, take two. Cammi.
Take two. Hi. How's it going?
Good, how
I feel
are
like
you?
I've been here before.
Deja vu.
Deja vu.
Thanks to our friend.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Thank you for having me.
That's all right. That's all right. Tell us a little bit about yourself again.
Yeah. So I started my music journey when I was about 5 years old.
Yep.
I was born and raised in Melbourne. So, been here for most of my life. Grew up in the northern suburbs.
Oh, northern suburbs.
I'm in the northern suburbs,
Oh,
yes.
didn't you travel from southeast though? Or
No.
No?
Today I
Oh.
travelled from near the airport.
oh,
But, you know, I'll do anything for my career and to
Fun
be able to
times.
connect with people and Yeah.
And you were saying that your dad was a drummer,
yeah.
but your mum was the one that influenced you to get into music.
Yeah, it's a funny story. I feel like as a kid I wasn't even aware that my dad was musically aligned.
Why?
I'm not really sure. Well, there's obviously the kid like naivety I didn't really know much about the world, but I guess my dad wasn't really forthcoming about it.
Yeah.
And so I actually connected more with my dad when I was probably in my late teens
That's
about
Larry.
music.
Yeah.
Hey, Larry.
Just walks all over people.
But with my mum, it was more that as a kid she saw, obviously I was interested in the arts and wanted to, give me a chance to explore that creative side of me. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was cool.
And any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I have one brother and one sister.
Are you the oldest?
No, my sister's the oldest, so I'm the middle child.
Middle child syndrome.
I don't know what the significance of that is, but it feels kind of special. I don't know.
No, we get best of both worlds.
We get best of both worlds. Cool.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that.
we get to like look up at our oldest and go, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do things slightly different.
Yeah.
But then we also look at the youngest and we're like, that spoiled brat.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like thinking about what my brother and my sister do, what I do is completely different.
Yeah.
But
So-
in a good way. We're all different.
They're not musically sound either.
No,
Right.
definitely not. I'm the only musical one really in the family.
Are they lawyers and doctors?
No. So my brother, he is a spray painter.
Right.
And my sister is actually I think she just got done studying vet science. So she's really passionate about animals. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so this podcast isn't about your siblings. This is about you. So what type of music did you start off with?
Yeah. So I guess just your contemporary radio type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, really just like probably Kylie Minogue, Delta Goodrum, Nikki Webster. That was when I was really young.
Yeah.
And then I think when I was about 9 or 10 maybe, I discovered Hilary Duff, and that was amazing for me. I know.
Hilary Duff.
Yeah. Maybe a bit younger actually. I was probably a bit younger.
Yeah, and actually on our first take you were saying that your mum took you to Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz, yeah. When I was
with
about
Nikki Webster.
5, yeah. And she took me to that, and when we got home, I was singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and she said, "Wow, you actually sound better."
Better than Nikki Webster.
Yeah, or just I don't know.
The Olympics girl.
The Olympics girl. No, she saw a talent in me, and obviously I was really I love to sing. So she said, "Well, you know, let's give it a go." And before that, I tried dancing, and I couldn't do that. So I gave singing a go, and I'm so glad I did.
So you couldn't do dancing.
No.
Is it just 'cause like the rhythm or like?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a little bit uncoordinated when it comes to coming up with dance moves. Look, I'll be honest. When I was younger, I was riding motorbikes and dirt bikes and you know, on four-wheelers. So I feel like I have that spatial awareness in that sense. But when it comes to dancing, I don't know. I don't really know a way that I can express myself through dancing. And it is so different to singing because, you know, singing, I think it came from this place that I felt misunderstood, and it was a way for me to express what I felt internally and what I couldn't say, just having a conversation with someone. And so I guess that's how I just landed in that little nook, and it felt right for me.
And so what's your songwriting like approach? Do you like take notes every day, or do you dedicate like certain number of hours a week?
Not really. I tend to write when I'm feeling called to write. And sometimes I'll have like a model of a story and I'll know exactly what I want to write about. But a lot of the time it's drawn from my emotions and what I'm feeling in that moment. And so I'll try and sit down and write even if I'm not feeling inspired to, just to see what I come up with. But I think my best work comes from when I write and feel called to do that in that moment. Yeah.
Has there been anything like significant lately that you haven't written about yet, or like what's been your most kind of profound song that you've had?
Well, lately, actually, last night I wrote a song, and
about being on a podcast?
No, not quite.
God damn it!
But I'll write one after today about being on the podcast because I'll have the awareness of what I'm writing about now, you know?
I should hope so.
But yeah, the song I wrote last night, it felt great. Like the chorus felt really anthemic, and it was just like a great start to a song. And yeah, who knows where it'll go. It might just be one of the songs I put on the back burner for a while, but it might actually make it into the studio.
Which studio do you record at?
Marshall Street Studios with Stu Watts.
Okay.
Yeah, he's great. He's a fantastic producer. And, you know, I've only recorded one song with him, but the way that song was produced, out of this world. And it was like a fresh start for me because I had music previously recorded with another place. But when I went to Stu, I felt that I really just wanted a fresh sound and to work with somebody who understood me in what I was trying to create and would encourage me to just go for it, not think about what's commercially going to be viable, just try anything. And he's been great with that.
I think it's always interesting because like if you're an artist and you're good and kind of like you're raw, like fresh, starting out, people will gravitate towards you and potentially push you towards being something that is commercially promotable, like for the industry.
Yeah.
And so by keeping your own identity, I think is probably like important.
100%.
Because then you kind of like stand out from the rest.
Yeah.
As opposed to being like rinse and repeat. Like
yeah, you definitely don't want to be like an industry plant. And and that's crucial for me to know exactly how I want to promote myself by going through every aspect of trying to promote myself, right? So without the experience of it, I'm not going to know how to approach it. And it was the same with my rebranding. You know, I came from bands previously and completely different genres to what I'm doing now. And so starting a solo journey and trying to figure out how I would create my act was completely new to me. And I'm really proud of where I've come from, but there's a long way to go.
How many other bands were you a part of?
I was a part of, I'll say I took 2 really seriously. Yeah. And then another one, we were starting to get off the ground, but things fizzled before it really had a chance to go anywhere.
Right.
But yeah, probably 2 that I was more so serious about.
Did you ever think about going on any of these like music reality TV contest shows?
Not really, no.
No.
I just never felt like I wanted to. Yeah, I studied as well. I studied a Bachelor of Contemporary Performance, and
Oh.
a few of my friends that were studying with me had gone on those shows and
Right.
told me about the reality of it, and it was enough to deter me from really going down that avenue.
Why?
Just
I'm
mm.
only asking because I'm curious, but like,
Yeah, it just felt like they were being influenced to be something they're not.
yeah,
And, trying to create a story and run with that story and mold them into that story rather than see them as individuals trying to express themselves. And, yeah, I feel like even just as an observer on those shows, it feels like they try and get you to really just become this story rather than, just express your own inner truth. And
yeah.
I don't know. It's not really.
I inadvertently had the lead singer of Sister Dolls here, and I did a podcast.
Yeah.
I didn't do any research. They came runners up in one of the seasons for Australia Got Talent.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool,
And I was
cool.
like,
Yeah, wow.
Sometimes for me, it's good not to do the research because then I don't get nervous.
Yeah.
Hard to believe I get nervous, but like, I think it's, yeah.
I think it's important to just channel the nerves even if you do feel them. I used to be a very shy kid and I would, shy away from any opportunity where I was able to just be sort of like a central focus, whether that be on stage or being interviewed or...
What happened?
I would just feel a lot of anxiety and pressure, and I would fumble my words a lot. So the confidence to speak has really come about in the last 5 years.
But hang on, you've been singing for a while.
Yeah, and this is the weird... I don't know. It doesn't really make sense, but when I sing, I feel like that I'm really allowing myself to just be free and to create, and like there's no pressure because I guess when I was growing up, I would sing covers a lot, and you're hiding behind other people's songs anyway, but you're singing lyrics that resonate with you rather than trying to talk about how you're feeling and come up with the entire sentence on your own. It feels like a lot of pressure. And for me, I've always felt more comfortable hiding behind a song. I don't know if you really understand, but that's probably where
I've had a few performers and singers on that have said the exact same thing, and almost this when they get on stage, they're able to just be themselves, and like there's a vulnerability about that, but a level of confidence that comes with it, as well.
100%. And I mean, my early beginnings were great with music. I felt really encouraged by my parents, but again, like there's a separate side to me where I felt really misunderstood as a child, and especially being in schools and after school communities. Kids weren't really chasing their dreams at a young age. And I felt really, really overly passionate about this thing, and I didn't know how to really connect with others. And so, trying to find a way to connect with others it just made me feel kind of separate from everyone. And so I was a bit of a floater at school. I didn't really have a central group that I could hang out with. And so, it was an interesting time in my life.
And that would have like presented lots of different challenges for you as well anyway.
100%.
Right? Like if you're creative and kind of like floating around, you probably, I don't know, like I say that because I grew up in Southeast Asia and then I moved to Perth. and I was odd looking and odd sounding. It didn't really resonate with people there, so I got bullied a lot.
Yeah.
And racial comments and like all this type of stuff. So I totally get that kind of like not fitting in piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, and then throw in, the fact that you're creative as well. And I think when people come across creatives, they automatically are like, oh, we don't really understand.
Yeah.
Or it's odd.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely. I completely empathize with that the way you grew up, because it was similar with me. It was a physical thing. It was also just the fact that I had braces and wore glasses. It was, you look different, therefore we'll treat you differently. And kids don't know any better.
Kids are cruel.
Yeah, kids are cruel, but yeah, I'm not so fazed about that now, but I do really empathize with that feeling. Yeah, just feeling a bit like different and not knowing your place as a child, and that completely like changes your point of view about the world, and it's a really crucial time for you to learn and understand how to feel safe in the world and how to feel accepted too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Have you ever written any songs about school?
About school? Not really. I keep it more of a central like focus. So say, for instance, it would be feeling misunderstood. I'll gather what I'm feeling about that and then put it into a song. I did write a song. It's called Jasper, and it's about a kid that doesn't really feel accepted by their community and wants to run away from their life, and yeah, just maybe
every teenager.
maybe exactly, yeah. There's probably bullying in there too, but yeah, I try to keep my themes very obvious and very like central, because I want a lot of different people to be able to understand and interact and relate with the song. So yeah, I'd say that's probably one of the songs I wrote about that.
Now, are you a what was that singer? What was her day job? She was a immigration officer. She was an immigration officer and a singer.
Wow.
And I was like, huh? What? How did those two connect? What do you do? I find that every creative has obviously their creative side, and then they have like a muggle job.
Well, no, I'm actually a bit different. I'm
You're a full-time singer?
Well, not full-time singer just yet, but I am a music teacher.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
So I teach at a primary school, and I also have my own
That's your muggle job?
That's my muggle job.
Yeah, you're a teacher.
Yeah, I guess so, but at least it's still related to music.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so and I also run an open mic too.
Oh.
Yeah, do you know what open mics are?
Yeah, I do know what open mics are.
Yeah.
Where do you run that?
Lygon Street. At a
Ah.
place called Little Lygon.
Right.
Yeah.
What night?
Monday.
Monday
I
night.
host every fortnight though.
Right.
Yeah. But I enjoy the work I do. It's just like very demanding, I'd say, mentally, you know.
Yeah. What how old are the kids?
Oh, they could be anywhere from 5 upwards to, you know, well, in the primary school setting it's probably 5 to like 10.
Yeah.
But if I taught after school kids, it could be any age really.
And the open mic on Monday nights, is that comedy?
No, it's mostly music, but
Mostly music.
we're open to everything, even comedy. We've had a couple of comedy acts come in.
Right, okay.
And so it's been a nice change of pace as well.
Has anyone famous been found at your open mic?
No, not yet.
God damn it. What are you doing? Cammi, you need to round them up.
I know.
Kickstart these musicians.
I'll get there. Don't worry. I'm trying my best.
You're not pushing this music teacher persona hard enough.
No, I'm not. Am I? Yeah, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you give us your open mic introduction?
Oh, you'll be disappointed.
Yeah, I'm not going to look at you.
There's absolutely no introduction because I don't really
What?
do one. I just
What do
set
you
the
mean?
artist up and then be like, oh, you ready to go?
Oh, you just manage it.
Yeah.
You're not
or
like emceeing
no,
anything.
I don't MC. I
What
do
the hell?
sometimes, but I've tried it on certain occasions and I felt like no one was really listening. So I was like, oh, okay.
Oh.
But maybe like I feel like once summer hits, that's when people just feel a lot more like they come out of their shell and they're a bit more bubbly and open to talk. I feel like with the cold winter nights, people just want to sit in their little corner and drink their wine and have their cheese board and watch the acts, and that's cool. But yeah, I will get to it soon.
How long you been doing this open mic thing for?
Probably about a year and a half now.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
it has been a while. Like it did change venues. So the place that it used to be in Yarraville. And so there was a different dynamic there, and sometimes I would MC and it would be it's like more of an outside type of venue, so people enjoyed it more. But this place is a bit more like like a hidden hideaway and very intimate and cozy, and people just want to as I said, stay in their little corners and talk to their friends and so I'm cool with that, and the artists enjoy it and the owners enjoy it too. So it's great.
That's good. If someone wanted to start out being a singer or a songwriter, like what advice would you give them?
I would tell them that
Stay in school.
Stay in school, but it takes an open mind and it takes bravery as well because it's going to be a journey into yourself too. It's not just about, any passion you take up, any creative passion is a journey into yourself, and you're going to understand yourself a lot better and your internal feelings. And I think that's really important. And just to allow whatever to come up, just to be okay with it and enjoy the process.
Talk to me about what you mean about having an open mind.
Again, I think it's that vulnerability. It's like not pushing things away and just allowing for allowing yourself the time to figure out what your approach is, how it best suits you and what it means to you. And because it does take time. It takes time to figure it all out. And I think if you're patient with yourself and you're, you just take that time to understand yourself and to not push ideas away, not push emotions away, then I think that's more open-mindedness.
That's a hard one, though.
It is. Because
some people can't handle their own emotions.
I know.
And then just put it down in a box.
Well, that's the thing. Like, for me, it's a bit of a different process because I want all the emotions to come up, and I've made peace with the really harsh feelings, and I don't really box them away anymore because I don't feel like it's valuable to do that. I think every emotion has a purpose, and it's important that you lean into that, you allow it to come up, and you use it as a creative force to write and to accept the feeling and put it into a song or a story.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think every emotion has a purpose, and either it's there to enrich your life or teach you something.
Yeah.
And, that thing could be about understanding yourself a little bit better, understanding other people a little bit better, understanding the environment that you're in, or like the world or whatever.
Definitely.
Definitely. And I've always said that, you can't see the light without the dark. So if you understand the dark, you understand the light a lot better. Yeah.
And I'm big into philosophy, so there's a lot to do with that, about your shadow self and your hidden side and bringing that to the light and bringing that to the surface. There's a guy named Alan Watts. I don't know if you know him.
No.
But he always says explore your dark side. and explore your shadow self, because without doing that, you're avoiding, I guess, the harsh truths, and that's still a blessing. It's still amazing to experience that. Life is about experiencing and just being one with it and being okay with it. The more we push something away, the less we the more we feel that resistance in our life, and it doesn't allow us to really connect with ourselves and connect with others.
All right. So 17-year-old Cammi comes along and she asks you, how do I explore the darkness?
17-year-old Cammi.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Sorry. 18-year-old Cammi.
18.
Yeah.
18-year-old Cammi. Okay. It really, but this is the thing, like, youth is a big side of it too. I'm not going to just necessarily go up to a younger teenager and be like, explore your dark side. You know, it's also fully up to you. And if we start talking about those things, if I find that there's an interest or some level of engagement, I'll just, I guess, try to understand their world a bit more and what they're feeling and what they're thinking about, because for me as well, so it ties into the mental health side of things as well. And I've written quite a few songs about that because I've come from that place where I've struggled with my own mental battles. And the more that I pushed that away and repressed those feelings, the worse it got for me. So I would use a lot of empathy and be gentle and just try to see what they're feeling and whether, you know, maybe mindfulness is an option as well. Meditation really helped me, journaling, things like that. And just, over time, accepting what's happened to you and trying to use it, as I said, as a tool, as a creative force to do good with.
I think it is interesting, like all those things that you just explained then are all forms of tools or techniques to reflect.
Yeah.
Like reflect on your feelings or reflect on what's going on and allow you to really go back, you know, like days or weeks or however long to go, how was I feeling then? This is how I'm feeling now. And you can then really start to analyze and determine what were the factors that made me feel like that, or what am I doing now that's slightly different, you know? And as you said, it is just this journey that we're on, you know? Yeah. There's no right or wrong answer. There's no right or wrong approach. It's just being able to go through that within yourself and come out with a level of information or knowledge, right?
Exactly. So what would your approach be? Would it be similar with the self-reflecting type of tools, or
as in
like meditation and mindfulness and journaling?
How do I explore the darkness?
Yeah, how would you maybe tackle it from your own perspective? I mean, our lives are quite different, you know, and you've got your podcasting and you've got your own side of things, whereas I'm a bit more like introspective and creative in that sense. But how would you deal with that yourself?
Look, I've gone through many dark times. I find that for myself, I isolate.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time internalizing things and listening to what's going on in my head versus trying to, what's the word? Validate or like understand what the universe is trying to tell me, you know, because I've gone through it that many times, I know that things are going to be okay at the end of the day. But like, what is it trying to tell me right now?
Yeah.
You know, and then I go to the gym like early in the morning because like who wants to go to the gym at 5 a.m.? Like, no stupid fool is doing that except the ones that have demons in their own head, right? Because it's like, get through the hard stuff early before anybody else is awake, and then you can actually like live the rest of your day going, you know what, I did the hard stuff. Nothing else is going to beat it.
True.
Mm.
But how good do you feel after you do it? You know, you feel great. You feel accomplished.
Yeah. You definitely feel accomplished.
Yeah.
Look, I hate cardio.
Yeah.
Cardio sucks.
Yep.
Like,
I agree.
whoever decided to build the first treadmill, they suck.
See, I have a husky, right?
Oh,
So cardio is a big one.
yeah.
And I have to be, I have to run with her or go on the bike.
25
Otherwise,
kilos?
yeah, around that. Yeah.
That's big.
She is a force. Man, she can run. And she'll pull me and the bike. She'll just go for it. And then sometimes she has extra energy to run after dogs on like being walked, and she'll just go for it. And I'm like, she's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, they were built for traveling in the snow.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
So
it makes sense.
You know, like that's why there's such workhorses, and they just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so the type of music that you're kind of creating now, like, what's that type of music?
So genre-wise, it's more so rock.
Mm-hmm.
Any sort of vein of rock. Maybe it's alternative. Maybe it's more indie. I can't really label each song I write as, say, like just a straight alternative rock, because it always incorporates different elements. Like the song I just recently put out, to me it feels like maybe glam rock to a degree. But it's also
still rock though.
It's still rock, so it's still that genre. And so yeah, I tend to write about things that matter. You know, to me at least, and a big component of my music is bringing people together and creating a community around the music that I write. And I've had a lot of people comment on that and say you do that really well, and I have people at open mics just sitting there and engaging with the story and coming up to me afterwards and saying, this is exactly what I went through in a similar way. And it's beautiful because that's what I want to do. I want to bring people together with my music, and it seems to be working.
Have you sung at any festivals or anything like that?
Not festivals, but I've done a couple gigs. I've actually done a lot of gigs. But yeah, so whether that be acoustic or band shows, I would love to get into doing bigger shows, but yeah, that's obviously going to take some time. I've got to build up my my following a bit more, and then hopefully yeah, I'm pretty open to that.
What when you say build a community, like what do you mean by that?
I guess bring people together through shared experiences, and as I said before, mental health is a big one, and you know, bringing people together to understand how powerful like music is, and allowing people to just share their stories, whether I'm bringing people together to share their stories to me, or I'm sort of like a conduit to say, go and share your experiences with other people, because people care and people listen. That's a big thing for me. And so the community is, again, back to that honesty of expression and the power that people have in being able to express themselves and to create their own art in their own way. So I just want people to feel welcomed and that there's someone here who cares. You know, I'm not just a songwriter. You know,
I think it is interesting, the power of music, particularly when you talk about like people's energies versus frequency.
Yeah.
And you know, everything has frequency. Everything has an energy.
Yeah.
I believe, and it's about either accepting what that energy is, or leveraging and absorbing that energy to then like enrich your life.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's this piece around whenever you hear a song from like your teens that you really enjoyed,
Yeah.
it brings back that feeling because it's
Yeah.
tapping into that frequency,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that resonated with you at that point in time, and that's in our body,
That's true.
you know.
Yeah.
And like I've got mates in Perth that will call me and they're like, "Oh, we listened to this song. Do you remember this song?" And my memory's so bad. I'm like, "What? What?" And then they'll play it, and I'm like, "Oh yeah!" Like,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
You're straight back there.
yeah, you're straight back there.
Yeah.
And like,
Mm.
it brings back, you know, flashes of memories and
Yeah.
like all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
So music is so like powerful from that point of view.
I agree. And I agree with the energy frequency thing as well. Yeah, energy is all around us. We're consistently absorbing energy from things, and yeah, I think each song that I've written has a certain energy signature to it that takes me back to the time when I was writing it and how I felt about writing it. And so feels like that to me. Whereas when other people discover it, they've got their own approach and their own idea of how they felt in that moment and what the song feels to them. And I hope that it's a positive experience overall. I know that sometimes if you're listening to sad songs, emotions get flooded in and you can feel those feelings come up. But I hope all in all that there's an uplifting message there for everybody to explore. Yeah.
It's it can be quite emotional. And then also, I guess, when you listen to like old bands and really try to understand what the lyrics mean and how they came about coming up with particular songs, unless you kind of like try to live through or understand all of that aspect, does it like bring you meaning to the songs that you listen to?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, can you repeat that? Sorry, I was looking at the cats. They're so cute.
He's a distraction.
If you could see him right now, oh, he's so tiny.
He is tiny.
Sometimes I'll just like, you know what you know what it's like when you just zone out and you're like, something distracts you and you're like, oh, it's like a shiny object.
Sorry, what did you say?
Fair enough.
Yes. However, in a podcast, it's supposed to be a sit-down 2-hour conversation or however long it is. It's the first time I find that like you're really not looking at your phone.
Yeah.
Because we're actually like listening to each other and having this conversation.
Because, you know, when you think about hanging out with a friend or somebody, you can always just go, oh, I'll have a quick check. And while there's a bit of a intermission of sorts. But yeah, when we're on the podcast, it's really just focused on the person that we're talking to, and I find that's great. I think it's it's a great experience.
I think everyone should have a podcast.
I think so.
I think everyone has a story to tell.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a platform to actually tell it. And certainly what I've found is that there's been guests on here that have told me stuff that I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I'm like, that's so profound.
Yeah.
Or like, holy shit, I can't believe like you went through that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so for me, like this is gold.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and it's a testament to you for being here for people and wanting to, or encouraging people to tell their story. And that's why I find podcasts so interesting. It's because you feel like a level of comfortability around being honest in this sort of environment. And it's probably why people have told you such profound things is because it's the environment that you're creating for people as well.
I mean, I had Mike Joseph on here, and after the recording, he was like, "I wasn't really going to tell you that story, but I opened up and I did," and I was like, shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Do you want me to edit it out?" Oh, he's right behind you. I'm like, "Do you want me to edit it out?" And he's like, No, keep it in.
Keep it
I'm
in,
like,
yeah.
it just makes
It's great.
the whole thing so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get scared about sharing too much, but maybe that's,
Why?
I don't know.
That
I don't know.
nervous anxiety.
Yeah, it's probably still there to a degree, and I get naturally I'm a bit more of a private person.
What dark secrets are you hiding from us, Cammi?
No dark secrets, but I think
You live an alternative life.
in an alternate reality.
Shit, he just fell over.
Oh,
He'll be all right.
he's just looking up at me.
Um,
But yeah, I think it's just the way that maybe I was raised as well, that you shouldn't say too much because
why?
I don't know.
Italian background?
I am Italian. Good guess, but I'm also something else.
Oh,
If you can guess.
no.
Nothing?
Australian. English.
I am Australian.
Australian?
I am Australian.
You did that well.
Australia.
Australia.
Yeah.
Greek.
No, I get that a lot though.
I mean, it's the only likely combination,
I'll come out with it.
even though I know that they don't like each other.
Yeah.
The Italians and the Greeks.
No, I'm Serbian, Italian and Serbian.
Oh, that was going to be my next guess.
Oh, really?
No.
Well, here you go.
That would have been an interesting household to live in.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of screaming and yelling.
Yeah. Two
I bet.
fiery people coming together and
Yeah.
trying to love each other.
Just a lot of passion
Lots of passion, yeah.
and a lot of stubbornness about being right. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. You've got it bang on there for sure. Yep. It's funny that like it's funny when you think about like certain cultures and you just they're so predictable just in the way that they are, you know. It's the same with where the household I grew up in, both sides were loud, like really loud. It's like a normal conversation was like 50 decibels higher than it needed to be, you know? It's like, yeah, so it's interesting.
I think a lot of that plays into like stereotypes, ethnic stereotypes.
Yeah.
And particularly with what's done in like movies or like media is like these stereotypes are magnified or like polarized.
Yeah.
You know, and so then it just kind of provides evidence around that particular behavior.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely.
and so
Yeah, 100%. No, I do agree with that.
Was it hard, like kind of growing up with?
Yeah, to an extent. Yeah, it's just a very loud household, and your parents are quite reactive in that way. But it's fine. It's more that, it's just you get used to it, you know. But you know, I love my parents. Like they're great, and they really gave me an amazing child life, and took me on holidays and did really cool things for me. And my mum, especially putting me in singing lessons. Like she funded my singing lessons from the age of 5 and up until I was about 18.
Is she the Italian or the Serbian?
She's the Italian.
She's the Italian.
Yeah.
She saw your singing. I was like, my daughter, she can yell.
Yeah.
At 5.
But the catch-22 was that is it catch-22 or catch-21?
20, I don't know. Whatever.
It's one of them. she would always ask me to sing for people at family occasions, and I got really scared, and I'm like,
Oh,
I'm not
why?
ready yet.
Why?
She wanted to be proud of her daughter singing and show that I can sing. She can sing, you know, and I was just scared all the time of singing in front of people.
Right.
There was one time actually, a couple of family members, they like, what did they say? They said, we really want to hear you sing, like sing in front of you. And like, no, I don't want to sing. And then they're like, okay, well, I'll come. Let's go into the bathroom and you sing for me. Like it'll be, you know, you won't be in front of other people. And I'm like,
in the bathroom.
yeah, I know, but it was like,
where it echoes.
yeah. And then I did, and I sung for them, and then I was like, oh, I can do it. And then they like recorded me singing, like audio record, and I'm like,
bro, what are you doing?
The family code was broken that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did your mum? It sounds like your mum was very proud.
Yeah. Yeah, she was.
Did she ever tell you how proud she was?
She always does.
Oh, that's so
nice. Still to now, she always shares my music on her page, and yeah, she regularly like plays my music for her friends. And yeah.
Shout out to mum.
Shout out to mum. Shout out to dad too. Like he's the same.
Sorry, shout out to dad as well.
He's very he's supported me a lot too, and gets around my music and gets really excited for me, and it's cool. It's such a different experience when your parents actually enjoy what you're doing and what you're creating.
Do they both break plates?
No. No.
I'm sorry. I'm just, yeah.
Not quite.
No.
Yeah.
My parents never told me once how proud they were.
Oh, really?
So I'm like, So it's actually really nice, like hearing that your parents did that to you.
Yeah. Well, you know.
When I was younger, they never did, but they were like completely absent, like pretty much all of the time. So I don't know how I came out as good as I did.
Well, adversity always brings out our strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good. I think, I think having a good support network. Obviously, your mum was super proud and wanted you to sing, like at any given time.
Yeah. But maybe that helped me come out of my shell a bit more.
Yeah.
You know, because there were moments where I was really just against doing it, against performing. Even, you know, if I had the opportunity to go on stage and sing a song, I'd be like, I'm too scared. But then going out and actually doing it, I confronted the nerves head on a bit more. And then over time you go, okay, maybe I can do this. And you get the momentum rolling. And now it's like, now it's completely fine because I do it all the time. That it's not the same. So maybe when it's more like sporadic and you're not doing it all the time, it feels a bit more daunting. And maybe it's also because I know myself better. And I've come to know what it is that, like, how these feelings aren't really, they're not there to throw me off. They're still serving me and serving my highest good. And it's the same for everyone. We just need to accept that nerves are a normal part of life, and it's okay to just lean into them. And the more you do, the less you'll really worry about them.
It's actually a fight or flight response that your nervous system kind of like puts you through. And so when you think about like caveman days, caveman days was all about survival. And so if you saw a plant, you'd be like, oh, there's a plant, I'm going to eat it. As opposed to if you saw a bear, you'd be like, shit, there's a bear, we got to run, you know. And so like that response is the way that our brain and our bodies kind of react to things that make us nervous or stressed.
Yeah.
You know, stressful situations. And I think stressful situations are good because it teaches you something. Yeah. It teaches you something about yourself.
Yeah.
And similar to what's happened to me with my public speaking and my kind of personality and stuff. You only get better at doing things if you keep doing them over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I agree.
you get better at public speaking if you do public speaking. You get better at singing if you do singing. And actually, I'll correct that. Because there's that saying that practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
I had a basketball coach that said to me once, he's like, no, practice doesn't make perfect. And I'm like, what? He said, perfect practice makes perfect. Because you can practice incorrectly.
You can,
and still and keep fucking it up and wondering why you're not getting to where you need to get to.
No, I agree with that.
But if you practice at a certain level, then that level becomes your baseline.
Yeah.
And then if you practice more, then you're pushing that baseline up and up and up, and ultimately, hopefully, your quality goes up.
Well, I have a couple points on everything you just said. So we'll take it back to the fight or flight thing.
Fuck,
right?
Who is fucking hosting this podcast? Is it me or is it you?
My brain's ticking now.
Take it back.
You
take it back.
You take it back?
Go.
Okay. It's really interesting because a couple years back, I was doing a bit of research into the fight or flight thing, and I actually had a bit of therapy as well. And then the therapist was like, oh, so there's fight or flight, but there's also freeze. And I'm like,
oh, yes, there is.
Well, that makes sense because that's pretty much what I do. I freeze up. And so, I never really resonated with the whole fight flight because I didn't really run away. I would just stand still. And
that's the third scenario of the caveman when the bear starts running towards you.
You or you try to shield yourself as if it's going to work. And I do that as well when someone throws me a ball and I'm like, the ball's coming too fast. You just duck. You're like, no.
Pretend to be a rock.
Yeah. That'll make it go away. So the freeze thing was really interesting when I found out about it. And it made a lot of sense to me when I'd look back on things that I went through that made me feel anger or they made me feel scared or afraid. I would just freeze and I wouldn't know what to do. So it's really interesting. And then, coming back to the points of doing things over and over until you're comfortable with them. Yeah, it's exposure therapy, isn't it? It's exposing yourself to the elements that frighten you. And so, I think that's helped a lot as well with me. And I very much agree with doing things to the best that you possibly can. And that's why it's important to find a teacher who understands and who can put you on the right path and allow you to practice in a perfect way so that you're doing things more perfectly and upskilling at what you're capable of. And so I very much agree with that. But it's about finding the right person and the right teacher for you. Yeah,
it's 10,000 hours till mastery.
Isn't it 20,000?
Or is it? I thought it was 10.
Oh, is it? Oh gosh, I can't remember.
Anyway, it's a lot.
It is. Yeah, it's a lot. Do you think starting at 5 I would have gotten there? By now? Maybe not by now.
Yeah, I mean, if you do the math, at 5, how many hours a day were you singing?
Well, I would have a lesson a week, so that's an hour a week.
So that's 1 hour a week.
That is a 1 hour a week, all right? That's our baseline. But then I would practice, I can't really remember, but I would probably practice 15 minutes a couple times a week.
15 minutes a couple times a week. Okay, so let's say 2 hours a week from the age of 5.
Yeah.
So that's 730 hours.
You're better than maths than I am.
730 hours a year.
Yeah.
At 5.
Yeah.
And then as you got older, you probably practiced more.
Yeah. And then my focus changed more so toward songwriting. the last singing lesson I got was after I finished uni.
Okay.
So uni was like the last real singing lesson for me. But uni helped correct me on my path. And that's why I agree with when you said, well, you're the basketball coach saying that perfect practice makes perfect, because I was singing in the wrong way before that and I was hurting my voice.
What do you mean?
I was pushing from my throat.
Right.
And I would, blow my voice a lot quicker than I should have been. You know, I would sing like maybe a 30-minute set of music, and then I would just feel like I couldn't sing anymore for the rest of the day. And so I knew that there was something going on, and a lot of it was down to like poor breathing technique as well. And so over time, like you start to think, oh, I'm good at this thing. I don't really need to worry about my technique. But then I realized that I was becoming a bit lazy with my singing. And so I really had to just focus back on my technique and correct what I was doing wrong. And I had a couple of teachers at the uni that really helped me. And then after that, I feel like, yeah, my technique is a lot better and
so
more
now
improved.
you sing from your diaphragm?
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Like,
it's
good that you know that.
I just guessed that. I think that was from a Joe Coy stand-up show, because he was like, anyway, he was doing the different types of Asians.
Nice.
And the Korean one was the one that like came from the diaphragm.
Yeah, the diaphragm. Yeah, I think it's a hidden muscle in your.
How do you access that though, in singing?
Well,
It's a conscious thing.
In general, right? We as humans are lazy breathers. So you see people when they go,
we're hitting all the hard things today. Us humans, we are lazy breathers.
We are. We breathe like this, raise our shoulders, you know, like we do that, right?
What?
When in reality,
how is that lazy?
No, you get more oxygenation when you breathe from your diaphragm, right?
I'm kidding. Yeah, I do know.
You know, it's really important that we access that, because it's better. It's more sustained breathing, and it's better oxygen for us.
Right.
And I didn't know that. I didn't know that there were actually health benefits to doing that as well, right? And that's
what
why.
Have you got against the whole human race? You're now calling us
too much.
all lazy, and like we all need to breathe better. What the fuck, Cammi? This is fucked up.
I'm just putting you on the right path now.
Oh, look. I didn't know you were a species slayer on top of your teacher music career.
I'm going to put that in my bio now. Hashtag species
slayer.
Species slayer.
Yeah.
That is a tongue twister.
I thought you're not dyslexic as well, are you?
No. I love that. Species slayer.
Okay, so we're lazy breathers.
Yeah, well, look,
So you got to breathe from your diaphragm.
Breathe from your diaphragm.
As opposed to lifting your shoulders up.
Yeah. I think about it. When people are overwhelmed
ASMR.
and they're having a panic attack, what do people do? They go, right? That's why they can't get enough breath in, because it's short, sustained breaths that aren't really doing much.
But we're going back into that fight or flight conversation now. When you go into a panic attack, your body's kind of doing this.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
But in general, people just don't really know where to breathe from.
All right. We're getting back to basics now. How are we supposed to breathe?
Well, you choose how you breathe, but I'm saying if you do breathe from your diaphragm, it does make a big difference to your health. And especially me as a singer, I've noticed a big difference.
So by doing that, you're able to not strain your vocal cords, and you're able to sing for longer?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm assuming there's obviously some sort of like warm-up exercise that you need to do beforehand.
Yeah.
And then is there a cool down as well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'll so I regularly do cover gigs as well. And so I'll be singing for 3 hours straight, and I'll just be doing covers. And so I'll have like
that's a fucking long time.
I know. there'll be about a 20-minute warm up beforehand. And then I have to make sure that I am singing with the right technique. Otherwise, I just will not make it through the night. And I've had nights like that where I'm like, I didn't start off right. And it set me down the course of really feeling strained after the performance. So really important to warm up and just remember your technique up there, because sometimes it can get really rowdy at these venues and you get overexcited and there's a lot of people and you're pushing your voice, right? Sometimes the venue will turn you down as well, so you're trying to push your voice more. But really important to remember that technique throughout the night. Yeah.
It's so let's say you go to a concert and it's like a 2-hour concert, like U2 or something.
Yeah.
And like you're yelling and then you come out and you're like lost your voice.
Yeah.
Is that because you've just strained and like you're not really breathing properly?
Yeah, definitely. And I've done it. Gone to a concert and just yelled and then I'm like, oh yeah, I've lost my voice. Uh-oh. You're doing damage to your vocal cords by doing that. Yeah.
How do you recover from that?
Just time and drinking tea, lots of tea if it helps. Lozenges, really just hydrating and resting your voice is the main thing. Because your vocal cords will repair themselves. I guess that's the thing about singers, right? If you're constantly singing, but you're singing in an improper way, you can develop nodes or nodules, which is a worrying thing. It's not something you want as a singer.
On your vocal cords?
Yes.
Oh,
so if
shit.
the normal everyday non-musician is going to a concert occasionally and screaming their lungs out, that's fine. They will repair their vocal cords. Not really a drama. But if you're doing that constantly as a singer, then you're at more of a risk of really hurting your vocal cords.
Can you get those nodes taken off?
You can, yeah.
Oh, you can?
You do, yeah. You can get them operated on. But it's a long recovery time.
And your voice may not be the same afterwards, right?
Exactly, yeah. So you really have to be careful and try to mitigate that risk.
I'm just thinking of Mariah Carey and like surely she would have got her vocal cords insured.
Yeah. Insured?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just the whole warm-up technique and all this stuff. I only say Mariah Carey because we're coming into Christmas season now.
Yeah,
And
okay.
That song's going to come out anytime now, if it hasn't already.
Oh, I'm ready for it.
Bro, like...
I'm ready for all the covers on my Instagram as well.
This artist is like forever milking it.
Yeah. Oh, her revenue by the end of the year just goes
She basically...
flying.
Yeah. She does not need to work ever.
No.
She's just living off that one song.
No, exactly. At Christmas time, that one song will make her so much money.
Her and Bublé.
Yeah.
Bro. I'm sick of seeing those bubble can ads around Christmas. Right?
True.
Like, yes, it is Bublé. Bubbly.
It's Bublé season.
And like, I think, have you ever sung or written a Christmas song?
No.
There's
Should
an,
I?
There's
Is
an
that,
idea
is that
for
where
you.
the money's made?
I mean,
I'll make my millions on Spotify.
You
So
only-
excited.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to make millions on Spotify, but anyway. That's a revenue generator for you.
Yeah, thank you for the idea.
Yeah.
I will keep that in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
I'll be like, at Christmas time, oh, that's right. Love that. Yeah.
Something about bubbles
Something about bubbles, yeah.
or insuring your vocal cords.
Yeah, so.
Are
yeah.
you working on an album right now?
Not an album,
Okay.
maybe more so an EP.
Okay. Sorry. Yes, an EP. I have to get the terminology right.
But at the moment, I'm just recording song by song. Yeah. Studio time is expensive. And it's for a solo artist, it's unrealistic to try and just make an EP happen. Because like, if you're in a band, when you're subdividing costs, a lot easier, and you could easily make an EP happen. But for one song, it's hard, like for one artist creating like 4 or 5 songs at once. Yeah, it's hard work. So
Do you have a band, or are you just singing by yourself?
I have a backing band.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, the music is my own, so it's all down to me to pay for the necessary things to make my career happen. And so yeah, studio time comes down to me, and all the other promotional elements that come with a release.
And who's doing your mastering?
My mastering, well, the last song that I did, it was Clockwork Audio Mastering. His name's Jacob.
Jacob.
Do you know Jacob?
No, I do not know Jacob.
Well, that was really convincing.
I had Jack the Bear on.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was great.
Now I really sound like I know what I'm talking about.
I know Jack the Bear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's great.
He's a
fantastic.
cool guy.
Yeah. And so when you're finding people to be on your podcast, how do you do that? How do you keep it like open to different,
I just send out
people?
a message to the universe.
I love that.
No, I don't. No, I get a lot of referrals.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we just like start a conversation, and I'm like, that sounds interesting. I want to know more about that.
Yeah. That's really cool.
And so, Jack the Bear, Jack, John,
Jack
oh shit,
the Bear.
I think it's Jack.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Jack,
He was a referral from a musician from
Cool.
Geo,
Okay.
Chocolate Music.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And when I had Geo on, we're just like really connected, and like we speak once a week and stuff like that. And then he's like, "Hey, I got this cool guy." Da, da, da. Like, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a well-known name in especially the Melbourne music scene.
He is.
So most musicians would have heard of him.
Again, I didn't do my research.
No.
I had no idea. And then I heard his story, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Amazing.
I'm like, literally, like,
Flawed.
I have these pinching moments, and I'm like, a lot of them have been happening sitting here, and
Yeah.
I'm talking to a person sitting there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Like, and I guess I'm just so humbled to like be able to meet so many different people, and be able to tell their story, which is the reason why I'm doing this podcast, because like I was a photographer. I told you before we started, I was a photographer before, and I was always putting myself in front of the camera, because I found that it allowed people to understand or know who I was, and I would often get people coming to shoots probably 5-10 minutes after them being here, be like, "Hey, you know what?" And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "You're exactly like how you are online." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's because I'm an idiot." And like I just do stupid shit, and I'm like not afraid to like put that online.
That's cool.
And so doing the podcast allows me to put the focus back on the other person that's on the couch, but also like talk about myself and all of that. And I think trying to story tell authentically is potentially a skill that we've lost due to like social media or like other mediums that are out there. And sitting down for a couple of hours, like talking about our lives or talking about concepts or talking about things, having it recorded, not only audio but video, just allows us to present that message even better to like the wider group, whoever that group may be,
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but I've forgotten about the cameras.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like, but it's also a skill that I think over time I've come to develop, because beforehand, if I had done this a couple of years ago, I'd probably be more nervous and I'd be more noticing the camera and, this thing I said, is that going to you know, like again, coming back to am I saying too much or, you know, and that's why I feel like it'd be great to take a page out of your book and just be okay with just sharing whatever it is that comes out, because it's flowing. It's the energy that's flowing, right? It's the way the conversation is going, and it's, yeah.
I guess I'm in a bit of a interesting situation where, like, I don't have any immediate family here, and I moved here in 2001 by myself.
Wow.
And so I guess I've always tried to be like myself all of the time. And so it's easy for me to be like that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I guess I kind of like think to myself, like, there is no backup plan. So whatever you're doing, like, that's it.
Yeah.
So be as authentic as you can, because there's no like turning back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I get that sometimes like that concept is a little bit hard for people because of the varying degrees or different masks that we wear, masks or hats or roles, whatever you want to call.
Yeah.
Like, we all have different roles that you would play, like, during the day or like during the week.
Yeah.
And it's important to understand, like, what those hats or what those roles are to be able to get the best out of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so for me, like, podcasting, that's just one hat that I wear. And like, I just love talking to people, and I love asking questions, and I love drawing out information that not many people would know or whatever, right? And I do it in a way that makes people feel comfortable, is comical, is funny, is deep, is philosophical, or like whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so it's,
Yeah. And it's like, it's profound, because for the person on the other side, we really feel like you care. And that's important. It's funny when I'm online, it's like that the excuse I give myself to share my story is that, oh, I'm trying to present on social media. But when somebody actually asks you, hey, come and sit with me on my podcast and let's start a conversation, I want to get to know you as much as you want to get to know me. And that is much more authentic. And that's why I think this is just fantastic and really makes me feel like I get to tell my story in a space where it really matters. And people are going to tune in, and they're going to support you, and they're going to support me. And it's like this amazing thing that you've created with somebody.
Yeah. And I totally get what you said before about on social media you want to like present yourself and all that type of stuff. Yeah, I used to go through that phase of like caring what people thought, and like, yeah, I do to a certain level, but then I also don't.
Yeah.
I'm like when I was doing photography, I'd have photographers ask me, oh, what's your social media strategy? And I'm like, I don't have one. They're like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't have one. Oh, don't you like schedule your posts or like leverage the best time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nah, I post when I want to post.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the whole thing is that now you've become the multimedia artist, and you're good at doing all of these different things.
Stop giving me a big head.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Everybody's expected to be a multimedia artist. You're supposed to know exactly what content you're going to promote. You're supposed to know how to social media manage yourself. You're supposed to know exactly what studio you're going to record your music. You're supposed to know who to get in touch with. It's like, it's tedious. And I don't know, I just think when you find somebody online who loves what they do, they're creating from a place of authenticity, then that's enough to speak for what they do. I get drained talking to people about how I'm promoting myself in this social media managing side of things. And I just go, I just post when I want to post. And I honestly, when I come up with content, when it's not single release time, it's pretty much on the spot. Hey, I feel like recording a song. And I've just written a song and I'm like, oh, let's record this and upload it. Or I've got a gig coming up, so I've made a little poster, or I share a picture I took at a gig. It's very when I feel like it and when I have that come up. And so, yeah, it's none. I don't think I've really scheduled posts anymore. Yeah.
I think I agree. I agree that there's a lot of pressure to be everything.
Yeah.
And yes, with the advancements of technology, it has enabled us to take control and do all of these things, right? However, you don't have to.
No.
And so you don't have to be constantly thinking about your brand or the posting strategy. Like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Right. And whilst I know that there's a proportion of people that would be like, oh, but that's important. It's important to leverage the algorithm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you hear that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's also important to be your authentic self. It's more important to be your authentic self than it is to try to fit into an algorithm.
Yeah.
And then also there's this other concept of training the algorithm. Because you know what? You can train your algorithm.
Yeah.
If you say, I don't know, fruit juices like that many times during the day, guess what's going to come up on your feed?
Yeah.
It's going to be some Boost Juice, fruit juice promotion, right?
Yeah.
Because you've said it every single day, or you said it a lot. So your behavior on social media actually ends up training the algorithm as well, that then customizes it to what you do.
Yeah.
Instead of you fitting into what everybody else is doing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it time and time again. I mean, I swear I've thought of something and it's ended up on my algorithm.
Yeah.
It's creepy. It's creepy. I'm just like, what?
What was the last thing that you thought of that ended up coming up?
I think I was just thinking about, I wanted this thing for dinner. And then an ad for that company with the thing I wanted came up and I'm like,
it's the plastics.
Nah, bro.
It's the plastics in your brain. Yeah. They're like transmitting to your phone.
Oh, man.
It's the micro. No, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. The microplastics.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's weird. But no, I fully agree about the algorithm. And yeah, I just want to let it organically grow for me. And so I don't know if you've really noticed, you probably haven't been following my journey much, but I've been posting a lot more recently because of my single release. And I feel like I'm posting stuff that feels more aligned with what I'm doing, and I feel like I'm creating meaningful content. And so now I'm just naturally feeling a lot more confident online and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying that. And now I can tell, like, in the last week or so, I'm not getting as much engagement on my posts. And maybe my algorithm is in some way, like, changing. But I love what I'm posting and I'm proud of it. And so I'll keep it going even if the algorithm doesn't agree.
I mean, who cares about the algorithm, right? Like, if you're posting for you, and you're posting the things that you love, that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely.
I definitely think, because there was also this thing around, in order to grow organically, you need to post like 3 photos a day and like 2 videos a week or like 2 carousels a week and blah blah. There were all like there were these like requirements that were
Right.
circulating,
Yeah.
and I was just like, huh? And
Yeah.
I was just posting. Sometimes I'd post like 12 to 16 times a day
Yeah. Wow.
if I had the images that I wanted to share that I really liked,
Yeah.
right? And then like some other photographers were like, "Oh my god, you like posted like 14 times today," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's because I had stuff that I wanted to post."
Yeah.
And then a week would go by, and then I get another message from the same person. They'd be like, "How come you didn't post anything today?" And I'm like, "Because I was busy." Like,
Yeah, wow. And it really gives people the chance to look into your like personal life, because it's going, well, you're not posting, therefore like what's going on,
yeah,
you know? And you know what scares me as well is that to think about my whole journey, it's just this one documented thing online rather than like memories, like actual memories of what I'm doing and being with it. You know, because I can take photos, videos and document it all online. But like if I'm not enjoying the process, if I'm not going, oh, I remember when that happened and that made me feel this way in that moment, rather than I look at the photo and I go, oh, I remember taking that photo and not what I was actually doing. So I feel like being more present in what you're doing, more engaged with being there in even connecting with people makes so much more of a difference as an artist. Yeah, way less about social media and this act you're putting on, because the person I am online a lot of the time is not who you're going to find. It's not the Cammi you're going to find at a gig.
Well, we've just identified that as what are you? You're a species slayer.
I'm a species slayer.
A music teacher and a singer.
Yeah. So
no, I think, you're definitely right. And social media is just, it's weird that it's called social media.
Yeah.
Because it's not social.
No.
I mean, it can be.
Yeah.
It can be.
Yeah.
But it's not what you think it is.
No.
From when it first started to what it is today.
Do you remember MySpace days?
No.
It's like your top friends.
I did not have a MySpace.
Oh, okay. That was a thing growing up for me, was MySpace. What was it for you? Was it Bebo? I don't know. I don't know what else there was.
There was like MSN Chat.
Oh yeah. I was on MSN.
ICQ.
Yeah. Man, MSN. That throws me back.
Because right now, social media is actually a marketing tool. It's a marketing tool, and the aim of the game is attention.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Right? And it's interesting because you could then go, oh, well, what are you doing with the podcast Instagram account? Are you grabbing people's attention? And I'm like, well, no. Like, I'm telling people stories.
Yeah.
And like, I'm pushing their story,
Yeah.
because I love storytelling.
Yeah.
And I love this process of like getting to know somebody, and I would have never known that you were a music teacher.
Yeah.
Or that your parents were Italian and Serbian, like, and I'm sure there's Italian and Serbian viewers out there that are going to be like, oh, I know exactly what she was talking about,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
yeah. But yeah, I think it's social media is about just making sure that you're regulating it, and like you're not getting into this wormhole of like this death scroll.
Oh yeah.
Been
there, done that.
Yeah.
Many times.
And then just like regulating yourself on like what content you're looking at, like all this stuff. Because like some of the stuff isn't real.
No, you're right.
Like some of these fitness Instagram accounts, they're not real.
Yeah.
That advice ain't real, bro. What are you talking about?
Well, when it comes to any specific field of whatever you're looking into, anybody can start an Instagram page and promote themselves as somebody who has expertise in that field. And so when you're trying to, teach people or give people some level of awareness, you have to be very careful about what you put out there. Because like social media, you're targeting anybody. Like anybody can stumble upon your page. So you have to be very, very careful about what you say. And I don't know about you. Okay, so if we're going into like the fitness side of things, I've tried certain supplements that I thought would be good for me and have ended up making me feel terrible and really like dizzy and,
Do you want to
not
name
right.
a few?
I think there was one recently.
Steroids. They will not make you feel good.
Wow.
Look, I knew you were going to go there. So I went there first.
Yeah, I really look like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steroids, yeah, look at that. Pumping. Yeah. Oh, God.
We need to have a talk about why you think steroids were good for you. For your singing career.
Yeah, I know. Yikes. Anyway, I don't really remember. Like it was they're products where they're all rounders, right?
Yeah.
So there was one, say, specifically for like blood circulation stuff, right? And so like for blood circulation, if you have vasodilators, right, that can pretty sure lower your blood pressure, right? And so if you're not used to it, then, you know, and for me, like regarding all of this stuff, I feel like I'm a lot more sensitive to trying different supplements and things. So it made me feel dizzier than what was normal in terms of the side effects. And so I was really worried and I was concerned and I asked them, okay, is this normal? Said it should be fine. And so I kept taking it and it made me feel worse, right? And so, yeah, you just really got to be careful with your doing research on things and not just listening to someone say it's great for this. And, you know, so, yeah.
I think you have to like listen to your body, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like, I get why people would take supplements, and I take supplements, but it's about listening to your body and understanding, you know, like how you're feeling, like after you've taken it, or whether or not you notice any like side effects or like things like that.
Yeah.
Right? So, if you take a holistic approach to it and a like pragmatic approach to it, like you should be okay.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely I agree with that. Yeah. I think I'm more holistic these days, if anything. And I'll always try the alternative safer option. Just because I feel like it works better for my body. That's another thing people don't know about me. I'm very into like health and nutrition and you know, I went on a big diet cleanse last year. It was crazy. Like I cut out so many essential food groups. Like I cut out gluten, soy, dairy, went vegan.
This was after your last cycle of steroids?
Yeah. Wow. You're going to make my audience think I'm this
gym junkie?
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
So you cut out gluten.
Gluten.
And what else did you cut out?
Soy.
Soy?
Dairy.
Well, you shouldn't be eating soy or drinking soy anyway.
I agree.
What?
Dairy.
Pretty much. Are you lactose intolerant?
I think I am.
Oh.
I went vegan, but I think I'm also gluten intolerant.
Vegan?
I went vegan.
Are you one of them?
No, but I felt incredible. Like I can't explain it because the less I ate, the better I feel. And I now really do believe intermittent fasting has changed my life too.
How long have you gone for intermittent fasting?
I'll go
16, 8?
Yeah, 16 to 18 hours overnight. So what I'll do is I'll have my last meal at around 7 or 8. And then I won't really have breakfast or anything to eat until maybe 12 or 1.
Have you ever done a water fast?
I haven't, but I really want to do one.
I did a water fast for 4 days.
Really? How
I
did
was
it go
amazed.
Yeah?
I was like, so you drinking electrolytes?
Okay.
Yeah, and like I think we had like one water soluble like protein drink.
Okay.
Look, you can argue. It's like, was it really a water fast? I wasn't eating any food.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So after the first day, you're like really hungry.
Yeah.
You're like really hungry,
Yeah.
but you have to like take your mind off thinking about food.
Mm.
And you just keep drinking water, or like you go for a walk. Like obviously you can't do your normal exercise routine.
Yeah.
But by day 3, you're like, oh my God, I made it to day 3. Like, how much longer can I go?
Yeah.
You know?
Did you feel more energized as time went on?
As time went on, definitely feel more energized.
Wow.
Because your body goes into ketosis, right?
Yeah.
And then you end up using more of your fat storage to burn energy.
But that's how you're repairing your cells as well.
Correct.
And that's what people don't really know. They
Yeah.
think you're not filling your body with the 6 small meals a day. Your cells work better when they're under stress. Like, so yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So
It's wise. It's probably like some of the most important information I've come across. The benefits of fasting.
So you're going to do a water fast next?
I will, but so my schedule is really, really intense, like weekly. And so once I get to the weekend even, right, I don't have enough time to really dedicate to it. So if you started it on Friday night and you ended it on Monday morning, well, to me, it just doesn't feel like I need just a certain number of days where I'm not doing anything and I can just relax, as you said. And I'm on school holidays right now. There you go. So it might be the time for me. But hearing your experiences, it's been, and I'm hearing a lot more of these experiences where they've just, people have found benefits to it, and it's really helped their energy levels and yeah, they've felt great after it.
The I broke the 4-day water fast by going to the local pizza shop. And I told them about it. And they're like, why are you only drinking water? And I got a Hawaiian pizza that night.
You shouldn't tell these gluten junkies. They'll be like, what? No food for 4 days?
Interesting. The mother that works at the pizza shop, she's gluten intolerant, so she can't eat gluten.
Okay,
And I'm like, and you work at a pizza shop.
Yeah.
You own the pizza shop.
Amazing.
You're like providing gluten for everybody else.
Providing gluten for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. But gluten-free food doesn't taste all that bad.
It's gotten better.
Have you tried?
It used to taste like cardboard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the more you look into it and the more you purchase foods that you know are made with like love and care, right? Then you'll be fine. But like, say for instance, if I go and buy gluten-free bread from the shops, I'm not going to buy the $5, $6 Woolies brand or Coles brand. I'm going to buy the Helga's or Abbott's Bakery or something that I know is...
He just thinks he owns the couch.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
It's annoying sometimes.
It's beautiful.
It's just laugh.
Yeah.
So you're going to buy the Helgas and the...
Yeah. Just spend a bit more to get a better product, especially when it comes to gluten-free stuff. Because any gluten item, even like the $2 cookies or whatever you buy, are going to taste great, right? And it's all about like whatever wheat is being used in making that. It doesn't really matter. It all tastes the same. But when it comes to the quality of the gluten-free flour, or it makes a difference. Hello.
Yeah. So Cammi, how can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me online. My Instagram social media handle is the same pretty much everywhere. So it's at Cammi Kol Music. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Bandcamp,
Spotify.
Spotify.
What's Bandcamp?
Bandcamp is an independent
I thought you were joking
platform.
then. So I'm sorry.
Wait, what? Oh, you don't know what Bandcamp
No,
is?
I had no idea.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Bandcamp is for musos to independently upload their music on the site, so they retain all the royalties.
Gotcha.
So it's
Sorry,
a great.
I thought you were making an American Pie
a Bandcamp.
joke then.
I wish I could take credit.
Remember
but
that
no.
one time at Bandcamp?
Yeah,
But it's an actual platform.
there is. Yeah.
You learn I learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Bandcamp,
Spotify,
Apple
Tidal,
Music.
Deezer. I'm on pretty much all the main platforms.
Okay.
So I'm just not on X. Do we call it X now?
Twitter.
Twitter, X. I'm not on that
Yeah.
really. So yeah, find me wherever works best for you, and I'll be releasing plenty of music over the next 6 months.
Great. Well, thanks so much for coming onto the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
And can't wait for the EP to come out.
Thanks. Yeah. No, I've had a lot of fun today, and you've definitely jogged my brain into some things that I want to do, some things I want to focus on. So
Amazing. Just stay there. Let me take a quick selfie.
Cool.
Amazing. Well,
Cool.
thanks everyone for listening in. Make sure you hit subscribe and that notification bell, and I'll catch you guys all on the next one. See ya.